Looking like a...
Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Wyoming has just picked Solana to roll out a monumental move for crypto. A state stablecoin is coming. We're going to take a look at some of the details behind this. What it could mean for Solana's long-term outlook. Many people are looking at this short-term price action thinking it's over, man. We're going to look at what really could be in the future for Solana from this monumental move. As Chainlink has made a major splash on Wall Street, ETFs are hitting. NASDAQ is integrating all kinds of major crypto products right now, while the mainstream media is focused on all of the political chaos going on. Minneapolis is on fire today with the news coming out of there. We can't really go into that on this show, but on the basement, we have at it. But I got my man, Mr. Kelly Kellum, on the sidelines here. Mr. Kelly, I'm feeling kind of good. A little concerned for people on the outside looking at this market, wondering when are we going to fall down to 50K? But how are you feeling today, man?
You know, I'm feeling good. It's a red day, but I'm still feeling quite bullish in this market. We got a lot of reasons why, but I think the big differentiation here, everybody needs to realize you can be a bull and a bear at the same time. I'm bearish on the current price action in the very near term. However, I'm very bullish on what the outlook is setting up for, into the later part of Q1, into Q2, and potentially even Q3 for this year. I think we're going to see a lot of upside. We have some astronomically kick-ass data that we're going to be sharing with you guys today. So hit that like button. I'm feeling good, and I know you're feeling good, Drew. We got so much story to cover today because the timeline has just been flying. Good news, troubling news, but great news to be set up for. It's a lot of things to be watching out for.
Well, I got some even better news. I got some people that I need to address here.
Hey, it's Hannah, and you're deported.
Oh, it feels so good. I've been waiting to use this one for a while here. Now, we're going to get into the chart action. Bitcoin is rolling over just a touch right now, and there's some key reasons why. But before I get into all of it, you got to follow us on the Twitter. Okay. Me and Kelly are working tirelessly for you. I'm at Druth Crypto on Twitter. Kelly, the man behind the machine, at Kelly Kellum
and look
on
at this.
Twitter.
X knows that I am alive, guys. But not only that, it's at Kelly Kellum. Then also make sure you're following the X account for Discover at Discover Crypto _. We're doing a lot. We're doing a huge initiative in 2026. I don't want to say to revive, but to kind of overwhelmingly revamp what we're doing on X with posting. We've been doing a lot of stuff even throughout the day, keeping things. We're trying to be somewhat politically neutral, but a lot of data, economic, alpha, crypto. So we're going to be going over a lot of this stuff today, but make sure you're following Discover Crypto _ right here.
Right. And when you look at the charts, things feel a little sleepy. I can understand, the sentiment of retail right now. We're rolling back down to, I'm hopeful to get a little bit of a scalp entry. I'll have a great chartist joining us later on the show as well with Kelly to kind of look at this potential trade setup. But I'm kind of hopeful. Chat, if you can, let me know if we fall down to $90,385 as I'm yapping up here, because there is a nice little snap of liquidity right below us. We just grabbed the pocket at 90,800, and there is a bright yellow magnet right below us. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that. In my opinion, the market opened this morning, and there was already tensions about the oil tankers and all these things happening in Venezuela.
True. What number did you just say?
$90,300 is what I was looking at.
I think you said 90,385, didn't you?
Yeah.
Look at the level I have right here that I have marked out with this top, this top, this top, these tops, these bottoms. Look at this level, which is $90,387. So you and I are two birds of a feather. We're flocking together, baby.
how did you come across that? Because yesterday I was just looking at it as the top of that range that we were just in.
Well, I mean, this is the top. We have a
Mhm.
rejection on a wick right here. We have the shelf right here. Rejections, kind of support. Rejections, kind of support. Rejections here, support all the way across here. So this line just stuck out to me. So I put a line there. If we on this way up, I said if we break down, we're coming here, and if we lose out, we're likely coming to here. So that's what I'm watching.
Okay. Okay. Well, the morning news, it reasonably pushed the price of Bitcoin down. Like this was a headline that I knew was coming to some degree. I don't know if it's completely flushed out yet or not, but we do have China making a response to the movements from the United States through their positioning near Nvidia. China suspended Nvidia chip purchases and asked companies to halt the new H200 chip orders. For the information, China is reviewing chip import conditions as well. And the charts reflect it, right? As we got this news, we started rolling downhill. Honestly, not too bad as things sit right now. I'm again interested in seeing what Crank and you have to say on the larger time frames. If I'm looking at this, like I still got my bullish business to stand on with this double green dot. I still feel like there's hope for my man Ducey out there. And we're working on a plan. I've got a plan, Kelly, to provide a bunch of trading credits and accounts to people that want to get out there and learn how to trade as well with us. So I'm working on that plan in the background. Altcoins, a little bit of pain out there, a little bit of pain going on here, a little bit of red. Mantle is down big. Everything else is shaving off like 2, 3, 1%. Nothing too
Hey,
crazy.
let's look back at when you look back at the weekly on this market, we've seen some pretty large gains. So I mean, 77% for render, 64, 63, 50. And this is on a day where we are getting a little bit of a pullback. And this is what we talked about expressly yesterday, everybody. We talked about this price action on the move to the upside that we've had all of 2026. And the fact of the matter is, we don't get just this up and to the right. You want to watch for the sort of zigzag, the rise, retrace, continuation. And the fact that the alts have been running and we're getting this is necessary as part of building structure on the way to the upside.
Absolutely. Chat's having fun with the price action too. I'm loving seeing a based chat that's making money with the wash up and down of this market. That's what it's all about here. Not too concerned with things. The one kind of crazy thing that I saw this morning that blew me away, Kelly, was the silver market cap. Silver market cap is now higher than Nvidia at $4.57 trillion in market cap, coming in at $81.20 an ounce, up 5.9% on the day. Gold and silver now dominating all market caps. Nvidia now number 3. This was a great reminder to me of how fast massive market caps can move. We kind of fall into that complacency where things look a little bit stagnant and things really aren't moving the way that we think they would. Well, I just feel like there's a bunch of bullish under the hood data that is going in our favor while the average person is kind of checking out at literally the worst time possible to check out on the markets. I mean, we're entering basically the Monroe Doctrine 2.0, nation states being destabilized, and people are like, I'm not going to pay attention anymore. I'm tired of looking at what's going on in the world. What are you seeing?
Well, we posted this earlier on the Discover Crypto account. This is value days destroyed. If you don't understand what that means, simply put, you're looking at confidence in the market in a very easy way to look at it. But what you're really seeing when you see these big spikes, it means a lot of coins are moving, but not just a lot of coins. If this is spiking, that means coins that are moving, when they're sold, you're basically destroying value days, meaning how many days that coin was held. So if you have 15,000 or 100,000 or 1 million coins that have been held for 10 years, then you're destroying, basically saying this coin that's been held a long time is now a new coin, not a new coin. It has a new holder. So you're destroying all those value days. So you're seeing when you're getting these huge spikes of old holders selling into the strength of a trend, which has has 100% of the time forecasted exactly where the end of that trend is happening. Now, we got this back in when we got the $74,000 Bitcoin before the halving, which really confounded people because and to this case, it'd be like, well, we're kind of doing a market top, but clearly we didn't get a market top. We had a pullback, continuation, pullback, continuation. But what I'm most interested in is these green bars that we have here, which, I added to the chart. And what this is highlighting where this is green, meaning no notable, meaningful old coins or a lot of coins. There's very few coins that are really changing hands, destroying days, essentially. So there's confidence basically baked into the market. Now, of course, you have green in other periods here, but what I'm really highlighting here is when you are in a bull trend, bull trend, bull trend, bull trend, and so on and so forth, when you're getting a lot of inactivity of movement in the market during the bull trend, aka everybody stops paying attention. Old people, old coins aren't moving anymore. This is a setup, has always been a predecessor for large bullish moves out of this. And look at this. This was that 7-month consolidation. We got the green flash, boom, up. This is a move from 109 to 74. Got the green flash up. Here we are with the green flash just barely starting again right there. And while people are kind of worried, and then back to your point about the different cycles, people are still looking at this, not even just a 4-year cycle metric, but they're worried about these 70, 80% drawdowns, like the bear markets, these super entrenched bear markets we've had. Well, these all prior bull markets have been retail, speculatively driven. Yeah. We are in an entirely new era now where we have institutionally driven, meaningful adoption, structured uptrend. And right now where gold is absolutely mooning, silver is absolutely mooning, copper, the signal that has really kind of tied into the business cycle, is starting to show the breakout. And we have this basically forward-looking impact of what's going to be happening with a softening Fed position on the interest rates, money printing coming in, rolling onto the balance sheet, aka quantitative easing. And so I think that this is going to continue. If we do get a move to the downside, I've told you all out here day in, day out, I think that downside level will probably be mid-70s if we get it. But I'm getting less and less convinced that we're going to get that lower target.
When looking at this chart from this perspective, really puts it in a very clear understanding is that there was no euphoric moment. And yeah, Danny's highlighting it perfectly. We topped on apathy and not euphoria, right? There's been no real blow off top here. And if we are slated for more downside, we're getting pretty damn near the bottom of where a strong bounce is likely to happen. The $1 million, $1 trillion question: how long zigzag, right? Zenny is asking this. How long are we going to zigzag on the charts? But before we get into more news, can we just look at how long we zigzagged on Bitcoin, say when we hit 75K? I think it was around 280 days.
I actually have it marked out here.
Let's check that out real quick.
On one of my charts, I cannot remember which one. Let me go to a longer time period. All right, let's see. I have it not on that one, not on that one. I got too many charts, everybody. Too many charts.
We asked to look at a bunch of different stuff here, so it's totally understandable.
I deleted them. Yeah, this was, we could just measure it. This was this across, if you come all the way from the top to the bottom, but really we're looking at this all the way across to where it breaks out there. About 240 days from the breakdown there to here. That was 77 days. That's to the bottom. But to the, basically the run up, the breakout here was 87, actually coming back to that level, 104 days. And then where we're at right now, let's see, measure that out. We got about, that's 87 days to the bottom, not the bottom, but to where we broke out. The same thing that we had over here. It was 87 days to the breakout. So 87 days, if we look at, let's say 100 days, 140 days, that would put us into the middle of February. And that this would be talking about when price potentially could be coming all the way back up here. But there's a lot of work to do. This is exciting, talking about these upper targets. But Drew, you and I have been highlighting it. The morning show's been highlighting it here. A lot of the accounts out there, everybody's so expecting and wanting price action to make the decision to either hurt them or help them, meaning pump or dump. In reality, we have the market structure bill that's going to be marked up on the 15th. We have the FOMC meeting, the 27th and 28th of January. We have new data on the Clarity Act that they're working on. We've got the potential government shutdown, reordering what they're going to do about government budget coming in at the end of the month, January 30th. There's still a lot to sort of unpack and tackle on a on a federal level here in the US, but then on the geopolitical stage, remember, we just had a pretty large world power change of the largest oil holder. And as much as it feels like that news has died down, guys, we've had puppet governments installed before, and it turned into 20-year conflicts. So there's no telling, and there's got to be a little bit of risk apprehension right now to see what this turmoil may or may not be, and how this could impact Russia's response, China's response, Iran's response. But at the same time, another world, major world player out there, Iran, also has their own political tensions. It's looking like, I think, the two largest cities have been overrun with protesters. They're making some changes. So this geopolitical shuffling that you and I have been talking about for 2 or 3 years on this channel is literally coming to fruition over this last year, and it feels like all of it's coming to a head into 2026.
Well, and some of the dark clouds around Bitcoin are evaporating quietly while everything's going on. We had this happen where the odds of Saylor's strategy being delisted from the MSCI by March 31st crashed to 11% on Polymarket. There's a lot of doubts now that strategy is going to be delisted from this index, which is setting a little bit of the dark clouds to the side for Bitcoin moving into this year. And then we have insane things happening for some of the top alts. Like, we're going to talk about Solana being chosen by the Wyoming Stablecoin Commission, the FRNT token. This is Wyoming stablecoin. The first stablecoin issued by U.S. state is now live on Solana. It's pretty damn exciting.
Everybody knows. I know we'll get at least one comment. If not live, then later. This news is from August, everybody. This news is from August. No, that's when they basically were doing the testing on their net. Today is the day that it went live for public. I actually have it here on Grok. Let's see. Today's announcement and post on X celebrate the public launch phase. So this is where it's actually available for purchase by the general public. This is why it's kind of like we've all seen governments before. Come on. We've all seen the announcements. We've all seen the claims about what's going to happen. So it's always very big when the discussion about potential integrations and rollouts actually comes to fruition. So this is kind of codified now. Wyoming has a stablecoin, and it is via the Solana blockchain.
Absolutely. It's going to take some time. Now, I'm excited. Let's bring up Crypto Crank here. Mr. Crank, good to see you. Let's see if I got
you're living in the sky, baby.
Yeah, let's see if we got his mic running here. Can you hear us? We can't hear him. Here, let's have you keep working on selecting different audio sources here. I want to get him up here as well, because Crank does some great TA. I want to see what he thinks on this kind of chaotic. I mean, it feels like we're getting near 90K. 90K is very psychological, and I almost feel like there's going to be at least some sort of dead cat bounce here. So the scalper in me is starting to wake back up again. The Solana long-term hold, though, with this story, Kelly, Solana is a very small market cap compared to Ethereum. And I was doing some investigation on just, what's the sentiment? Are people interested in Solana versus Ethereum? Actually, I did this on the Basement Show, but I think we should do this on this show because there's a lot of different viewers here. So we go to Google Trends, right? I want to compare Solana to Ethereum and XRP, right? I feel like this is kind of a fun little check. So you go to Explore and check out Solana, and the search for Solana over the, let's say, just all time. The search for Solana is a very, very good trend right now. This is a small project that is definitely trending up in interest while retail's asleep, which is a very important metric to think about. But then you look at this, XR frickin' P. Look at this little token run. XRP absolutely spiking in interest, while Solana is being chosen and solidified as helping run a state stablecoin. Retail.
Well, not even just a state stablecoin. Solana also had the news yesterday with Morgan Stanley launching their, the ETFs with Solana,
yes.
And then not just Solana, but also with Ethereum. So this is like where you're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Chainlink, and we're going to be getting into Chainlink here in a little bit. But these are the ones that are getting like very focused and powerful mainstream global financial institution sort of nods of approval. And the nod of approval isn't just saying, hey, we think we'll do something with it. It's they've done all their due diligence and really realized through their due diligence and research that there is very strong viability for a product. And that means they're seeing the market research say that they're going to make a shitload of money, aka there's going to be a large appetite. So the fact that Ethereum, Solana, and Chainlink, which we're going to talk about again in a bit, really, getting these major institutional integrations really shows where we're at in this crypto ecosystem and why we are still at a floor for what's to come.
And you mentioned we might be looking at a little bit of a chop in cheaper prices. You mentioned it's scary. For me, that sounds exciting, right? To get cheaper assets that I can see are being kind of cooked into the future of money. So let's bring up Crank, because he's always got some interesting targets for us to look at. How
Can
you
guys hear
doing,
me?
brother? Yes, you're sounding great. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Kelly. Drew, happy New Year's, guys. I know we had a lot of fun
Adidas
that night.
shirt on.
Yeah, that was a great show. That was a great New Year's show.
Dude, you were having fun, dude. Kelly, boy, was putting it down.
I missed it. My phone died, and then I got the clips of it after when I woke up in the morning. I was like, God, I missed one of the greatest Kelly exposés on the planet.
I don't even want to talk about it, but I'll talk about it. When I came on, it was New Year's Eve, mind you. Okay. So there was some investigation into a 40 proof thing that was out there. But I came on, I have this very colorful scarf. I wrapped the scarf around my head and I came on as a Somali daycare owner.
Okay.
But it was an interesting start to the.
It's a bullish market.
Great. I was wondering what the heck he was doing, dude. He had all the energy, dude. He started pulling out these big old pieces of equipment. He was setting it up on the table, bro. The next thing you know, dude, he's like, "Let's get it on."
That is funny. Well,
he was jamming.
We've had some interesting price action since I've had you on the show last. So, we were running up. We got around like 94 at the beginning of the week. Things have seemed to get slightly more bullish. And this morning's news, we've had a lot of really big, bad news come out in terms of like, Iran and Venezuela and all these things going on. And yet I expected more of a dump off the NVIDIA being looked at by China news, which did break this morning. So I kind of expected cheaper prices from what's happened, but what are you seeing on the charts for price action on? First, let's take a look at Bitcoin and what your thesis is on where Bitcoin's at right now.
All right, let me get to the old stretch here. We'll get it all going right there.
Oh yeah, that'll work great. Just like that's just fine.
Just like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's reset. So, guys, it's kind of the same old story, same old news. Bitcoin's still stuck inside of its range. Every single time, this is shortened territory. I told my community, I was telling everybody that this is, guys, make sure to get inside of the Discover Crypto Discord. I was posting, man, this is shortened territory. All right. Nothing has changed. Every single time we come up to this massive sell wall of 94,400, 94.5, you short it. No different. I did take this short as well. But, and the reason being, guys, is the trend is your friend until it breaks. And if you would have shorted the first time, the second time, this is the first, second, third here. If this time would have been actually the time where we broke out, you would have been stopped out one time. You would have had 3 perfect shorts to the one time that it actually broke out. This isn't any big news. I expected Bitcoin to actually come up to this level. You can see here we had these lows, higher lows. Liquidity is built up like a monster at 86, 83, and 80 grand, guys. This is almost very similar to right here where we were trading right in this range. Very similar. Remember, I was saying the same thing, that if we come up on this price action, that it was going to end up, hold on, we'll drop it down right there. Remember, I was saying that this 106, you do not want to see that happen. Well, I think that if we do end up taking out the sell wall on, if we take out this sell wall here, I think that 98 to 100K is going to be the target. But Bitcoin it's in a downtrend. This is going to be it's Bitcoin's top, I think, is in, guys. I don't think that Bitcoin has the juice. I don't think we're going to see a new all-time high. I think that the 4-year cycle is in. But as a trader, there's plenty of action, guys. Anything that we want as traders is a solid range, and Bitcoin is stuck literally between 84 and 94. This is a beautiful range, and I don't think it would be weird, okay, if Bitcoin just did a grueling sideways action, just grueling, man.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
what the
we
chat
come
is
down
asking.
to
Is like,
some
when
lows.
does the chop end? That's like the biggest question on everyone's mind, you know. And just before we keep moving, you have another short setup I saw that if we do break the 94 and some change, we go up to the
100K.
bottom end of
100K.
those wicks. Is that where that is at $100,000?
At 100,000, man. I'm going to be again. This is where I'm getting my information from. Just look at 2021, 22 going into this, guys. This is very identical price action right in here. All right. We had this huge accumulation range. We had the sell wall right here. This is in 2022, in 21 going into 22. Look, December, we squeeze out, we take this out, and then we continue out of this. This is very, very, very similar kind of price action from 2022. Nothing is surprising me at all as we made these highs. We had these highs coming up here just like that.
Our
It is
current
almost-
situation looks pretty minuscule compared to that 22 moment. It's like we haven't played out all of that chop yet when I'm looking at it from this.
We have not, because again,
What's
look,
what's the time frame on that from when it touches that lower trend line first to when it has the deviation up to when it breaks down?
So this would be in February. So technically this first quarter, we come back down, we retest just the bottom of it, just like right in here. So you see how this is February 20th right here of 22. We squeezed. Everybody thought we were so back. And when I say we squeezed $15,000 from literally 34 up to technically almost 50. We
66 days.
66 days, dude. So I would say, I mean, this is just on the longer time frames too. When we're looking at market cipher on the weekly, top is in. 3-day, top is in. Daily, this is the only hope we have on that squeeze that I'm talking about, and it's going to be short-lived. It is very similar. Look at this right here on the daily. When we came down, we do see that the money flow, we were in the red. All right. As we came up, momentum getting weaker to the downside. It is getting weaker to the downside.
Right. And it's
Absolutely
causing the
getting weaker.
weekly money flow to try to stop going back to a flat line. Have you seen that as well on market cipher? The weekly money flow is like,
it is. We're at the zero line. We're at the zero line. And so I do think that we're going to, that sell wall of 96 is going to get taken out. But just from what I'm looking at, I won't believe that Bitcoin's back unless we go and close above 116, something massive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I have very worrisome levels. You don't need to change the charts. I have very worrisome, basically cautious levels at about 99,000 because of short-term holder cost basis, at about, I think it's 106 or something because of some key moving averages. But then 116 just on a price structural level, we could move all the way back to that level and reject. And I mean, the scary thing is, it's not scary. It's just, it would really suck for people that want the market to pick a direction. We very well could see, and nobody really talks about it very often, we could very well see a sideways range that's like $40,000 for the majority of 2026. You know, I put that at about maybe a 20% probability, but I think the market's going to either hurt everybody and break down, or hurt everybody that's bearish and just leave people behind. I think those two scenarios, one of those is more likely.
75, dude, is my, if you could just pull up my chart one more time on a macro level, I have 75K. We've already touched it once. This is and again, I'm a big player on simple trading and fibs. We could see if we just pulled it from here, from this low to our new all-time high, we have, I mean, it played right between that golden pocket at the 618.65. If we break that, then I would say it's going to come down to, if we go here, this would make even more sense. Bitcoin's bottom for me is going to be somewhere in the 50s. It's going to really scare the shit out of everybody.
It'll drop from 126 to 50K, vastly higher. So about a 60-70% pullback from its all-time high in this
that
current.
Would diminish gains, diminish profits, diminish losses. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to see a 84 typical history 80s. I don't think that that's going to happen with the ETFs. Guys, this is an institutional bull run. What I would be really focused on, okay, and this is where the real sauce comes in on where we're going to make money. Bitcoin can just maintain between the $70,000 and $90,000 range. But with stable coins taking up majority of this market, have you guys seen the stablecoin markets? They're massive.
I have.
They are massive, and this
I
is where
have
the
seen
real
those.
sauce comes in for
Well, and
your
that's
hope.
when like people are getting risk off the table. They'll go into stable coins, or RWAs will get instituted. It's not necessarily directly impacting altcoins or Bitcoin when that happens, right? It's
Well, think of
setting
what
this,
they also print out of
Yeah,
nowhere, dude. They're
and it sets the
$2-3
long term.
billion
They're like
dollars.
they're liking crypto for the long term. But I do think that you're wrong about the floor of Bitcoin, Crank, because I think that the cost to produce Bitcoin is going to determine where the actual floor below us sits. So, and we can breach below that floor, but the current floor is at 74K in US dollars for how much it costs to produce one. And we can, when we breached below that cost in 2022, we went below it by about like 15%. It took a hell of a lot. FTX, largest fraud in human history, to go down. Terra Luna, Celsius, many billions of dollars fraud and chaos and death and destruction, basically, to crypto. These last few months of insane macroeconomic events not having the ability to push us. I mean, we didn't even, I don't even think we touched. How was that? How deep was that wick that your cursor's on right there? Where was that? Like $80,000?
80 grand. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of having a hard time believing that I'm going to get 50K Bitcoin. And I say I'm going to get Bitcoin at 50K because the idea of it excites me. You're giving me arousals I doubt I'll have. Right.
Well, the realized price is $56,000.
Drew,
And
this
so-
is easy peasy, baby. Tell him. Yeah.
Well,
tell
I mean,
him.
I
like,
want to hear this.
Well, the realized price is 50. Here's the deal. I don't believe we're getting this in the next, I don't think we're going to be near the realized price in the next 8 months. I don't think we're coming down this low. However, with that caveat, as an analyst and looking at stuff, I also realized, much like you chart out, and I don't disagree with what you're charting. I see what you're seeing on the bearish take, with these bear markets on the 4-year cycle, but I'm much more inclined to look, I'm leaning towards the business cycle driving this further than the halving cycle is now. The halving cycle has reduced its impact by 93%, from 50 Bitcoin per block to 3.125 Bitcoin per block. And the fact that the global business cycle is lined up with the halving cycle the last several years, I feel like has lent to this belief that it's a halving cycle. But I, in my opinion, I think we're going to see more. I think we're going to see new all-time highs in 2026. I will say I am aware of the lower targets. And I do know if you turn off every other line, none of these lines matter, okay? None of them. You just look at realized price on the history of Bitcoin. If you have no idea what to do, ever, say, okay, where's the realized price? Even if the price continues to pump, if you stack like a mofo and just into your savings account, not even crypto, and wait till price goes below realized price, this has been an astronomical, even here, COVID, boom, tapped right below it. FTX was right at it, and then boom, right under it. That's where it was. So regardless of what happens, if you are paralyzed and you don't know what to do, maybe you have to be patient 3 months, maybe it's 3 years. But the next time Bitcoin is under the realized price has been the overwhelming best buy signal that you can look at without convoluting all the other data that might confuse you or might be too much noise to pay attention to. But
Even
that
if
right
it,
now
like,
is $56,000.
It would destroy like new investor sentiment and stuff like that, but it would be a way for me to do the same level of stacking that I did when COVID hit, where it's like everyone's just sure you're so stupid for buying Bitcoin when it falls to those levels. And like, I almost feel like if I was BlackRock or some of these giant organizations, they hear what you're saying, and many very smart traders like you, Crank, are saying and looking for those same targets. And on the upside, the bull side, bulls would be disappointed if we didn't just have a V-shaped recovery. I would If I was a nefarious money market manager, I'd edge everyone right in the middle and then wait for them and their psychological despair to shake themselves off of the market before you really start, opening the floodgates of liquidity into it. You know what I mean? Because they can outweight any average retail person,
One thing that I could definitely say too, dude, with the SPY putting in new all-time highs, dude, Bitcoin is very institutionalized, and it is, we had a big sell-off today on the SPY. Bitcoin had its big pullback of 3%. I would say that if the SPY pops, dude, Bitcoin's gonna be anchored, and it's gonna be hosed. It'll be
that's what I was
very, very
hoping.
easy for Bitcoin to hit these targets, dude.
The Nvidia news that came out was what I was hoping would do that to the SPY, and it pulled back to a degree. Can we look at the S&P 500 real quick? Because I think this is going to matter a lot for like how Wall Street's reacting to this news today. It's being underreported. China's looking at shutting down imports and movement of Nvidia chips right now. This is a big deal.
This is a 1 hour S&P 500 chart. It has had a little bit of a pullback, but surprisingly, Nvidia is just in a range. I mean, this is, here's the thing. People don't realize this looks like maybe not much because look at this. It's, oh my God, it's only, 1%. These are multi-deca billion, 10, 20, 30, 40, $500 billion moves because NVIDIA is a $4.5 trillion company. It was $5 trillion. But this is just ranging right now. It's just sitting in this range with people overwhelmingly bullish. But I feel, and I've said this before, people are still fearful, and they remember this back here, not 2022. Let me zoom back out. Back here in the early 2000s, the dot-com bubble crash, and then also the breakdown of markets in 2008, which was, where's 2008? Right here, boom. Because we're seeing signals in broader markets that typically would cause overwhelming caution, like the other day, was it about last week at some point, I saw, that's the wrong one. Last week at some point, I saw a metric that showed the stock market, S&P 500, had reached not only new all-time highs, but we were also at all-time highs for the margin in the debt margin that was being used, meaning you have this perfect storm for a collapse in the market. But on the other hand, you have this new tech boom that nobody wants to miss out on, but they feel like they need to hedge in some way, but they're not sure because of the devaluation of the dollar. But now we just got Venezuela, so now oil is going to make everything cheaper. Everybody's like, bro, sorry for the language, but they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do, man. So this is where it's just like, you got, and I actually did a post about it yesterday. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I did a post about it yesterday because it's so simple and yet so silly. It's right here. This is the post. This is it. Go get on it. And what is it? What's the post? Diligence. Take some action. Long-term doesn't mean the 4-hour chart. It means decades. And be steadfast on that. No shortcuts. And I think all of us, I trade, Crank, you trade, Drew, you trade, but you're not trading your whole portfolio. You're doing it with the calculated amount that you're hoping to grow your portfolio, but you're not exposing yourself to ruining a decade's worth of exposure by taking a high risk motion now.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's going to $1 million, dude. Bitcoin's going to $1 million, guys. And so I highly encourage this kind of price action. I think that this will be Bitcoin's last cycle in its infancy before it becomes an adolescent. I don't think Bitcoin's a mature asset yet. I do not think that Bitcoin's a mature asset. This will
Ollie doesn't want to hear it. Look at her. She turned her back to you.
She turned around. Like, dude.
Well, look at silver and gold. Gold and silver are the examples of mature assets, right? NVIDIA is not a mature asset in comparison to gold and silver. NVIDIA is a disruptive technology company that's taken the world by fire because you have the rollout finally of large language models, and it's just got the products that you need to make AI work. Companies love AI. They love to put people out of business. And this has been
some big
like
silver longs right now too, dude. But
you like silver longs?
I'm in from 70-70. It's been cooking. 70-70. This was our first expansion phase for silver. Our blow off top, man. So if people don't know how the markets typically work, their minerals and precious metals are the last to top, you guys. And so if we do see these Something's up with Bitcoin right now, guys. It is. I'm here to tell you, I do not think that the M2 money supply, I do not think that gold and precious metals, that money rotates into crypto. I think right now, something's going on with Biddy. I don't know, but the way it typically works is you are going to see legacy markets peak. Right after that, we are going to see precious metals peak, and then the gig's up. But I'm expecting gold and silver to absolutely cook. And
So these are on weekly candles.
it's
on
beautiful,
gold.
baby. They're just getting started.
And gold is signaling that the market is stagflated, where you don't have economic growth and you have inflation increasing. The last time gold has done this, it's taken decades to get this back around. So it did this 1979 to 80. This ended up locking up the housing market, rising mortgage rates up to 18%. And then gold proceeded to do around a 20-year bear market of flatlining and being arbitrage psyoped out of care. Then they roll out the gold spot ETF. This is our situation. And I don't see any real ebb and flow of short cycles within this chart at all.
You know what I just noticed on gold, though?
What?
As gold is kind of a bellwether of, the people that are in the know, the sovereign bodies that are out there, the big money stackers. Wouldn't you know, this downtrend we had in gold and then just flat. Now, when was COVID, right? Would gold pump before or after COVID? Would gold pump before or after a massive monetary issue in the markets? Well, this is 2018 this is when COVID happened, 2020. So this was running up as a predecessor to the world economic shutdown. It's almost as if some people knew what was going on before it happened. And then, of course, it went flat. And then, boom, we kind of pumped out of that. But that's kind of an interesting notice there that happened before the world sort of economic catastrophe that we had.
Pull up my chart as well with Market Cipher and look at the difference between Bitcoin on these weeklies. Dude, look at these, bro. We got higher momentum waves here, dude. Gold's gonna put in another new all-time high. It looks absolutely amazing on the 3-day, on the weekly. I mean, even on the 3-week, dude, this thing is sick. Same thing with silver. Silver just barely had its first expansion phase. We came back up. Silver, dude, this thing's just getting started on silver on the weekly. Look at this. Higher momentum waves, dude. This thing had its very first pullback. I'm in from right here at 70 on my silver long. I think, man, and again, they're the last to top. They're the last to top. So if we do see the SPY, we see the rate cuts happening. SPY puts in and again on the daily, again, we're still putting in these new all-time highs, man. It is very easy to see. I mean, dude, look at this. Was just right here in April of 25. If this were to happen right now on this 20% pullback, and let's just say, I mean, Bitcoin could easily get into the 50s, 60s, dude. That's only a 30% pullback. This is a 15% pullback will give Bitcoin a slap on its ass, dude, right? To get your ass down to 60 grand. I mean, it would be pretty easy if this was to happen. And these are pretty healthy pullbacks. I mean, even here to here, this 10%, dude, is a massive pullback on Bitcoin.
People lose their minds when that happens on the regular Wall Street side too. And really, I wanted to just finish my point about us comparing gold to silver. Bitcoin has never experienced stagflation. Gold has. Gold responded to stagflation the exact same way it has right now, where you have the build out of a cup handle and then yiddity yoddity up to the rightity. Now, this is exactly what we saw. And again, stagflation is when you have inflation going up, your politicians lying to you and bringing interest rates on banks down, and economic activity coming to a standstill. It's the perfect storm to really lock up an economy and cause some real big problems. And this is the exact same setup that happened right here. And in your defense, gold has room to run. Gold has room to run in this situation. The grand question is, how does Bitcoin react to stagflation? It's never seen it before. It was developed during the great financial crisis, but it's a much newer asset, a place to park your money than gold or silver is. And for silver, dude, they were keeping silver down artificially for decades for production
Very
reasons,
long
right?
time. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you need silver to produce all these little electronic gadgets that everyone has, and the copper
Its
that goes into
utility
all the data
case.
centers. So they have to keep the price down if they want to make the products cheap. If they want to get the
Mhm.
products out to the public, get everyone used to using these high-end devices, which now you go to Costco and you can get like a 50-inch TV for what, $200 or $300 or whatever it is.
Mhm.
You know, that's not how things should be. It's how they've been to get everyone hooked in, and now we're finding this moment. This is why the time frame where I cover crypto, and I love covering rare earth minerals and production patterns in the world, because there's money to be made on many, many different aspects of what's going on right now. You know, and this idea that crypto is just this fly by the night fad that's going away, it's
Mm-mm.
definitely washed away. I did want to highlight this. Kelly, do you have that Chainlink news you had mentioned earlier this morning?
Yeah, I
Big
got
happened with
you
Chainlink.
know, that was something that we kind of glossed over the other day. We ran out of time, but it's right here. Bitwise spot link ETF just got approved as well, right? So now going back through it, we talked about Ethereum with Morgan Stanley, and there's already other ETFs out there. We've also for Ethereum, I mean, we got Wyoming launching a stable coin on Solana. Morgan Stanley also just launched an ETF on Solana. We got Bitwise out here that is just launched and approved and launched a Bitcoin a spot ETF. So this is, to me, I think regardless of what happens in 2026, people are going to be so mad to hear this. If we have a bearish year or a sideways year or just something that's like where we don't have that bullish push that everybody wants, I think is irrelevant in the scope of where this market is going, because of the foundation that's being set up with all of these assets. And furthermore, it's not just crypto. We're seeing back again to this reshuffling of order. We also got great news today from Donald Trump from the White House. This is something that's been on my mind for 7 years. BlackRock, Blackstone, all these major hedge funds out there just stacking homes. People want to say it was just the illegal immigrant crisis and, you know, leading to home unavailability. No, I think that it probably had less of an impact than corporations and hedge funds out there just outbidding and buying family homes. So the White House and Donald Trump out there said, for that reason, for much more, I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying single family homes. And I will be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations. So I love this. And then a 1-2 rally today and good post from the White House. We finally, after all this time, this should blow all your minds. And I said this, it's amazing to me that we live in a government that only now, 2026, has finally acknowledged we need real food to dominate the food pyramid. For any of you that have remembered the food pyramid from our youth, it's the biggest crock of shit ever.
Yeah.
It's bought and paid for by Big Sugar, by the salt industry, by box food, Kraft, and all this nonsense. And people wonder why they're fat, they're obese, they have diabetes. I'm not using those terms as hate. I'm using it as an assault on health that corporations have basically plagued the populace with, and it's become a habit, so much so that even SNAP benefits, people complain that now you can't buy soda and nonsense and trash. No, we need to remember what humans live on, which is food, which is real meat, which is healthy grain, not box grain, real fruits and vegetables. So we're starting to make some broader changes, not just in Bitcoin and crypto and the Clarity Act and market structure bill, but also getting things back in order for what we need as people in this country.
Yeah. And, you know, you've mentioned the great news the Trump administration put out about blocking these institutions. Blackstone fell about 9% after Trump said that he's taking these steps to ban institutional purchases of single family homes. I myself had to fight these bastards when I was buying my house here in Georgia. They were doing cash offers. I had to go 30% over listing price, you know, and put a lot down. Like, and I'm lucky, like I have a lot to put down, right? Like I got into crypto, was able to really change my life. That was the only way I was able to even have a chance of fighting these asshole corporations that were buying up all the houses in the location I needed to get a house at. So thankfully, crypto helped change my life so I could fight back. But for the average person, this is crushing them. The average person is just fighting like crazy. Now, we have some bullish news about Solana going on with this Wyoming stablecoin adoption. And the longer we go, the more I feel like Solana is here to stay. But Solana has been extremely volatile. It went from $80 or $8 rather up to nearly $300 at
Yeah,
the
it was like a
peak when Trump-
35x.
Yeah, I mean, incredible price action, right?
Sick.
I see Wyoming with its integration. I see of other, a couple staking ETFs coming to Solana. So the longevity of Solana is there in my mind, but between the two of you, like I am hopeful personally that I can get cheap Solana is what I'm getting at here. Right. Fine if the price takes off right now, because I have a little bit of a bag, but honestly, like what are the price targets that you guys have?
Do you think I would be crazy if I said $40?
Let me see it. Let me see your case for $40. I want to go.
One thing I do want to say real quick, guys, because I wanted to give the panel here, all the followers, show my chart real quick.
Oh yeah.
Show my chart. Bitcoin dominance, just real quick. If Bitcoin was to range, just real quick, guys, this is the gusto right here. Stablecoin dominance is getting out of control. All right, it is just so strong with Tether and USDC. And if this thing breaks, it's not even really about Bitcoiners offloading their Bitcoin. You know how it's really big about Bitcoin pairs. ETH BTC. I'm really looking at this stablecoin dominance, guys, and this is the mother lode. The moment we break 5.8, this is truly going to be your alt season. We could see that we came down to the support the last 3-4 days. Altcoins have really ripped. Bitcoin dominance stayed stagnant, didn't really rip at all. I've been watching this as my indicator for a true alt season. It's going to be USDT dominance, but when we break this level, I think this is when the big hoorah is going to happen, man. So everyone keep an eye out on USDT dominance. Solana, let's go to the long chart on Sol, because I want Sol at $40 to $60. It's pretty easy. When something does 35x, Sol is in its early stages, very equivalent to Ethereum in 2017.
Yes, I agree with that.
Very, very similar, guys. It's picking up steam. I like Sol, man. Sol USD. Let's go out here to.
Well, I will say one caveat. It's similar to ETH in 2017, but the discourse around crypto on the global financial landscape is a different universe from 2017. So I wouldn't be as prone to be. I want you to show your target for 40, because I actually have that marked on my chart. I just think it's very unlikely.
I think it's super easy, dude. This thing's doing this last little hoorah. I'm prove me wrong and to let the.
So the guts of those washout moments right there. Is that 40? Is that the 40? Because I was looking for like 80. When I looked at it last, I was
right
looking
down
at 80.
here, dude. It's gonna be right above the bear market accumulation for the FTX stuff.
Oh wow,
it's right here, dude. But dude, this is I'm in the tail end that we're at this stage of the game, not this stage of the game. That's just me. But one last hoorah. One thing that I could say about Solana is that it's again, going back to those fibs, it's being respected to the T. Came right down. Look how many times we're playing inside of this fib. If we come down and Bitcoin touches that 85K again and relaxes, I'm going to take this trade. It's valid until proven not. So I would tell the panel as well, this is a phenomenal trade. Anything right in there. This is all the way down to 111. If this thing wicks down into 111, we have to take that trade. If we break this, the head and shoulders, Pat, you could say this is a head and shoulders all day. I mean, this thing, if this sucker breaks down, dude, the target is $40. Now, anything that comes up.
The target comes from the basic head and shoulders design of this, or the combination of the old accumulation zone.
Both, dude, both. Okay. I just think this Solana, dude. If we break this on this, and let me just clean all of this up real quick, and we'll look at this good old. I mean, you could just post it here, dude. Just bang, bang. We'll go down here. Dude, it's pretty simple. I mean, this is just too. it's lower, dude. But
That's
I
a
just
hell
got
of a head, Jesus. It's going to. You're going to owe $20 a coin if
Yeah,
it
dude.
hits this.
I just think that $40 in a bear market is pretty easy. I think the Solana is going to be battle tested. This is its first big boy cycle, dude. Everything has this. I mean, go to ETH at the beginning of its stages, dude. It's these prices are not
The
unreal to
Solana
see.
chart looks more shelfy. It looks more like XRP to me. You know, Ethereum looks
dude,
way
this-
more volatile
Dude.
personally.
1400s down to $300 in its first real cycle. Solana is not mature, guys. It's not.
No.
It is not being
I
utilized.
mean, I agree with you, but I'm going to give you some pushback. Pull up my chart here. I mean, I have the same target as a possibility, $40, $40 to $44, and that's based on this zone that was a rejection. We have all this chop right across through here. So yes, that is a target. And I will say this: if the 4-year cycle is correct and we get a bear market and very bearish price action throughout 2026, I think this is likely. I'm not on the side of thinking that we're going to get the 4-year cycle like that. I think if we get, I think because of this structure, there's clear sign and signal that you'd be stupid not to be prepared for this price action right at this golden pocket, which is all of this support and resistance structure, which basically goes, like you said, down to about 111. It'd be silly of me not to think that we are going to break that. I do think we'll break that. And I'm looking at 100 is going to be kind of a telling sector, but really this 80s, like this is, I think if we get the washout that really wrecks people, it would be more likely that this kind of it would be more likely that, why is that? Brush, here we go. Kind of get a rejection here or a breakdown from here, rejection, and come in this area that really traps bears, comes back up and then forms that structure to move higher. And the only reason I say that is I get the correlation with Ethereum, early life correlation with what happened with that. But again, the landscape around the asset classes has changed so much. States deploying stable coins on the chain. The fact I saw a metric yesterday, Solana has the highest amount of the highest market cap of tokenized assets on it of any other L1 out there. So there's such entrenched money that's involved now, I think, on a corporate and institutional level with Solana. I don't think we're going to get that move. I think if this comes down, oh my God, move over, hide your kids, hide your wife, figure out ways to stack into this. So I would be
up the
prepared
truck,
for it.
dude.
I just think this is
up.
unlikely.
Oh, and so Crank is a bear that buys the low levels if he gets them, right? There's the only bears that bother me are the ones that just complain about everything and don't have any plan of action. Should the price action get to that zone, they're like, see, I told you, and then I never got any. I'm staying out of it because I just hate it. And it bounces back because it's a useful tech. And you have some interesting stuff on Solana that's happening right now. It's the supply of stablecoin surging by $900 million in the span of 24 hours. So nearly $1 billion worth of stablecoins coming into Solana in 24 hours time. It shows me there's something big brewing on there. I'm happy that I have my bag, but I do hope that, honestly, I think you're wrong, but I hope we get there because
I will say
right.
to Crank's benefit, to Crank's behalf, this is what January's been so far, everybody. Pull up this chart. And I think this is a bingo card for this month. We've already had wild news, bizarre news, wild news. And what we've seen over this last year, as bullish as I am on 2026, one of the things that I'm kind of really having to learn to lean into is nobody's got a damn clue what's going on. Yeah. And this goes back to the entire discussion we had the first half of the show. There is real, it's not as speculative. There is real global reordering going on right now. There's reestablishment, this whole new Bretton Woods idea of like what's happening with the dollar, with oil, with who's controlling oil, with what that means for money printing and inflation, let alone this world conflicts that are happening. So there's no telling what direction the risk is going to go tomorrow or next week. I mean, so I'd be prepared for 44. I'd be prepared for $50,000 Bitcoin. I think it's unlikely, but again, the wild news cycle that we've been living in, who freaking knows?
I would just encourage people too that don't get. I would encourage people to not be discouraged. You know, I was calling for that 85ers since, dude, we ripped from when we ripped, remember I was telling you, Drew, and remember I told TJ, I said, dude, you don't understand, bro. We've gone from 69,000 to 100K in 30 days. Dude, we got to eat some of this back up. And 85ers just didn't get hit. And everyone said, oh, nothing below 100. Bitcoin's down 35% from its all-time highs. Nothing surprises me in crypto anymore, because you know what sucks, guys, is that the more I was accumulating, the more I was disappointed. And the more I was accumulating, the more hurt I was when it just kept going down and down and down. So I told myself, you know what? I'm encouraged on these prices. I'm not discouraged. Yeah. If we see these price actions, guys, there's just know this. There's nothing wrong with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to $1 million.
Well, I had to make my own fund last year. And it was through trading.
Hey, if I have to start an only pause for her and pull in some more capital, let's go.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with Chainlink getting back down into $8. Remember, I told you $8, dude.
I know. I tried to buy that damn October 10th dip, and it wouldn't let my order go through. I had some tether I'd put together from trading, and I tried to YOLO back into it.
Think about that, dude. We're at $17, and they're like, Crank, where's your target? I'm like, dude, that fucker can touch $8, bro.
Yeah, and it did, dude. It did. Absolutely.
And so, and everybody, and the other thing I would like to tell everybody on the panel, especially Kelly and Drew, dude, we're not lucky. You know how people say, oh, well, you were lucky. Eventually you're going to be right. Motherfucker, you didn't even believe that it was going anywhere to the top. And now you think I'm going to be right when it hits the bottom. It's not lucky. It's conviction.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to surprise us. We've all lost so much money. And I would encourage all the viewers today that understand cryptocurrency gets really fun when you start withdrawing and you make money.
Oh, and to Crank's point, everybody out there, I see some people hating. He's out here trading with hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he stacked that, making the calls that he's making. So regardless of where it goes, you'll see him over the course of the next 6 weeks. His entire idea about where targets are going to be will adapt daily based on the market conditions of what's happening. As it stands right now, as bullish as I am in 2026, there are overwhelmingly bearish signals in the chart. So it's a fundamental case versus a technical case. And so everybody, you've got to make your own decisions and what you're comfortable with. And you have to reap the rewards or the losses of those decisions.
100%, man. Well, Crank, where can people keep up with you? I know you do trading streams. I caught you on New Year's with Kelly. Where are you going to be streaming at? How can they find your content?
Follow me on YouTube at Crypto Crank. Follow me on X. Get into the Discover Discord. We're always dropping a lot of alpha there from all of us, and we're always keeping in touch there with the communities. But follow me on X. I'll be doing I'm pretty big on doing the scalp and chill, so I'll be doing a scalp and chill tonight. Live trading, live accounts, getting after it, showing the strategies, guys. But as always, guys, follow Discover Crypto, follow Drew, follow Kelly, follow myself. I love being part of the guys. Get your information from real ones.
Well,
these guys are showing everything.
I'm allowed to talk shit about everything, which feels good, because sometimes you just need to. But appreciate you guys. And really,
I will say before we close, don't go standing in front of cars. Or sorry, don't be driving towards people.
Okay, well, I'm going to cover that story on the basement. Some things happened in Minneapolis today that, it's things are getting crazy, but we do appreciate everyone, all of your support. You're spending your most valuable asset on the planet, which is your time, joining us, looking at all the developments in altcoins and crypto, but also some of the crazy targets that we might hit should things really start to unravel on a world scale. We're going into 2026. It's going to be crazy, but the most important thing you got to remember is to support us in this journey. Make sure to join our Discord, get involved, and keep your crypto on a cold storage device as we move through this. And I'll see you on.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.